pushing.
There are 10 million.
300,000 new people moved to Dubai.
It's crazy numbers. They are crazy numbers. In peak season is 3 times more.
Welcome everybody to a new episode of First Class Talks. Luis and me, Rohala, we are both here. Welcome, Luis.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to your own
Thank
podcast.
you, everyone. Yes.
Today what we are going to do is, we will analyze again the market. However, today we will focus on, let's say, a specific area in Dubai, which is downtown Dubai. Downtown Dubai is the area where we actually started our short-term rental business. And downtown Dubai is also the area where we have around 250 properties at the moment in the short-term, in our short-term rental company. Hottest tourist density areas, correct? And what we're going to do is we want to understand how the long-term rental market is developing versus how the short-term rental market is developing in this area. I think this is very important today to understand.
So also from this, or before we go into the data, we are looking at only 3 beds here, right?
Yes.
And 3 beds, the reason why is that we are looking at the 3 beds is because a lot of people come to us and ask us what are the right units that I should invest on, right?
Correct.
Is it 1 bed, 2 bed, studio for holiday homes purpose, right? And we always say that the best is 2 bed and 3 bed. And the reason is because a studio and 1 bed, you are competing directly with the hotels.
Yes.
Right? When you are searching on booking.com or whatever is the platform, and you put 2 guests or 1 guest, it directly comes, you have some apartments, you have hotels, and it's much tougher competition. And when you go into 2 beds or 3 beds, so groups of 4 people, 6 people, 8 people and more, then it becomes really attractive to go for short-term rentals, right? So that's what we recommend the most, 2 beds and also 3 beds. And we have a lot of 3 beds in downtown, right?
Exactly.
So that's why we picked this one as example.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we started our business, we primarily only rented 3 bedrooms. Yeah, because we knew that the gap between long-term rent and the income we can get in short-term rental at that time was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think long-term rent for a 3-bedroom, for example, in Burj Vista, right, was 120,000, 140,000, and we did 3 times, 4 times more that.
Yes.
Right, and even if you said correctly, if you compare it to hotels, it's much cheaper for a group of people to go to a 3-bedroom rather than going to the address, right, in downtown Dubai, which is super expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can have the same view even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same amenities,
Yeah.
same view, and same location, right?
Yeah.
The first slide, which we will show here now, is average rent of a 3-bedroom apartment in downtown Dubai. And we can see here per month, it's starting from October 24, it goes all the way to September 25. We can see for new rental contracts, this is also very important for our analysis purpose, we have only considered new rental contracts for each one of the months. We can see that here on average, the amount or the contract value of this 3-bedroom new rental contract. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the next slide, what we have done here is we took actually the average per quarter, right? So we see here quarter 3 or quarter 4, 2024, then quarter 1, 2025, and so on until quarter 3, 2025. And it's very interesting to see that actually the trend from Q4 24 versus or until Q3 25 is downwards, right? So we see a negative trend here.
Mm-hmm.
Luis, why do you think that we have this kind of development?
I believe that is, and I think that's what we have seen in the market up to now. There are a lot more units in the market available for renting. Yeah? So a lot of people that are trying to rent a new apartment, they have more options, right? And they will negotiate.
Yes.
And this means also a lot of other units that are not picked by these potential tenants, they will stay in the market longer, right? So the longer it stays in the market, more, let's say, the lower the owners of these apartments will be willing to rent it. They will be willing to accept lower values, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And this comes from, we know there are a lot of projects that are being handed over at the moment. There are like a lot of projects in this year. It was even planned more than what has been up to now, but there were some delays in the projects, but it is catching up. Next year will be the same, the year after will be the same.
Exactly.
So the population is also expected to grow, and I think next chart we will see this, but it's not following the same line. And we see this also ourselves. We know we had some of units that we had in the beginning, we had more subleasing units, right?
Right.
And we have renegotiated a lot of contracts actually during this year, because we see that the long-term rents are going down, and we were able to negotiate these contracts. And the owners of the apartments, they accepted lower rents.
Correct.
Just to not have to go through the process of having to wait 2, 3, 4 months to find another tenant, right?
Correct.
So this is actually, I think, the reason why it's coming down, and we see that, and we experience it ourselves, already benefit from it.
In fact, last year we had a unit. It was the most expensive unit which we have rented, and was the last one. We have rented it for 350,000. It was a 3-bedroom, right? And it was in October 24, and actually it's in line with what we can see here on the chart, right? If you see the average contract value in November 24. So we rented it for 350,000 dirhams, and actually this year we told the landlord that we will not renew the rent for the same rent, and we offered only 300,000, right? And the owner surprisingly called us, and he tried to rent it actually for a higher price, but he called us, he was not able to rent it for a higher price. He called us one day before the expiry of the contract, and we negotiated or agreed on a contract value of 310,000 dirhams. Yeah, so we can see that the landlords are not able, or they cannot manage to rent these apartments for a higher price. And we have, I think, another 3 apartments which we now give back. The landlords didn't accept our reduced rates, and they didn't have managed so far to get a new tenant for the higher rate, right? I think another thing also which is very interesting, what many people don't know, and which we cannot really see in statistics, we knew that the holiday home market was booming the last years. Many new people were coming to the market. They were opening up holiday home companies. They were subleasing like crazy. And I think explicitly these prime units, or these 3-bedroom units, where we knew that we can actually generate a very good revenue through the short-term rental business. They were rented by these companies, right? If you remember, one check, 400,000, they were willing up to go to 450,000. And these were the people who actually have pushed the rents so high that we ended up with crazy rents at the end.
Yes, the expectation from the owners of the apartments for when it was coming to, let's say, holiday homes operators to rent was that they could pay much more. And they do believe, or they believed that they could make much more. And they went into these contracts, and now they are leaving the contracts back, right? And now the units are going back to the market.
Exactly.
As another contributor for vacant units.
Honestly, I think in these areas like downtown, JBR, or DFC, this is one of the main contributors, because as Luis was saying, all these holiday home companies, they got burned, especially the new ones, right? They're giving back the units, they're closing down their business, and obviously these units are coming to the market, and they have an impact, right, on the long-term rents. So we can see here also in the next slide that the decrease in long-term rent on average was 8.6%, which is clearly a downward trend.
And we expect that it will keep either the same or going down more, right? And by the way, this is what we are looking at now is here, the 3 beds in downtown, right? But there are a lot of other areas where we know that long-term rents are extremely high, and potentially like mini bubbles within Dubai, right? Because we can see some areas that short-term rental cannot do even close to some of these areas in long-term rent. And this is also a matter of time, right? So there are areas where that are like this, and there are a lot of constructions being handed over during this year and next year. And so these areas probably will be impacted even higher than what we see here for downtown.
Areas are like Blue Waters, right? Dubai Harbor. So we will see definitely a correction there, and we can see it already. And when we see the next chart, we have an overview of the population growth of Dubai. We have this target of 7 million until 2040. And actually we can see that, and this chart is as of September 2025. Only this year to date, so from January 25 to September 25, we have a net growth of 300,000 inhabitants in Dubai. So this means around 30,000 people every month have moved to Dubai. Which is
30,000.
30,000.
So 1,000 new residents per day. 5 planes coming in full of residents to move in every day.
So seeing this growth, and we will see how it will continue next month, but seeing this growth and seeing a decline of long-term rents is surprising actually.
It's surprising, you mean, in terms of why is it still going down?
Correct.
But I think because the supply, it's even higher than this, right? So yeah, we would expect that with so many people that are coming in, that the supply would, let's say, there will be not enough houses.
Yes, yes.
As we see, for example, that's what we see in Europe, right?
Yes,
There are a
yes.
lot of population is growing, a lot of people moving in, and there is no construction, right?
Yes,
but
yes.
here, the construction is even faster, higher amount than the population coming in,
Yes,
even
yes.
though with these crazy numbers of population growth.
But we can see also all these new communities coming up, like the Valley,
Yes.
yeah, new houses already, or Damak Hills too. And also, if new people move here, honestly, it's I think very unlikely that they will pay 400,000 dirhams for a 3-bedroom in the first year when they move to Dubai.
Yes.
Yeah, most of them are digital nomads, right? They come here, they start the journey in Dubai. Obviously, they have to check on their savings, right? And they cannot spend crazy. And then on the other side, we have the high net wealth individuals, right?
Yeah.
They will also not go to a 3-bedroom. They will go potentially to a villa somewhere.
Yes.
This is very important to understand. So now when we go to the, let's say, next slide, what we can see here is we have added actually also the number of new rental contracts for 3-bedrooms. Yeah, so we can see here in the green that especially in the last quarter, we can really clearly see a positive trend here, right? So month on month, the new rental contracts for 3-bedrooms are increasing. Yeah, in June 25, it was 39. And last month, it was even 69. It's actually the highest
Yes.
during the past 12 months.
So the number of rental contracts, the new rental contracts of, again, 3 beds in downtown,
Yes.
right, is not reducing, right? Even though the rents are going down and the population is increasing, which means, again, it confirms what we were saying, the supply itself,
Yes.
it's, so the rental contracts is increasing, but we are adding even more to the market on a monthly basis. Of course, it's not month by month. It depends on the project that is handed over. But there is a trend to the number of contracts are increasing. The population is increasing, right? But the prices are anyways going down.
So this is very interesting to see. So a lot of indicators showing that this trend will potentially continue. Now, in order to compare it with the short-term rental income, yeah, what we have done is we took the same apartment, yeah, a 3-bedroom in downtown Dubai for the analysis purpose. And we have also highlighted now here in the next chart the rental revenue of this apartment over the past 15 months from April 24 to September 25. And what we can see here is, I think it's also very interesting to mention maybe to the viewers that obviously we have some kind of seasonality in the short-term rental industry. Maybe
Yes.
you can explain a little bit more.
Yes, so in Dubai, so it's a little bit different from, again, comparing to Europe, it's a bit inverted, the seasonality, okay?
Correct.
So in Europe, the peak season is during the summer, and here in Dubai is during the winter. And why? Because it's very, very hot during the summer. So less people come to visit as a tourist, but during the winter, then there is when we have the most amount of visitors, right? So it is normal that if there are more people visiting in the winter, also you can, again, the amount of houses available in the winter and summer is the same. So in the summer, you have, let's say, more war fights, right? The price war. That you don't see it in the winter. In the winter, you actually is more the people fighting to get a house and to get the good ones. So you can actually ask for more prices. So it's a normal trend, right? We see it also in Europe. You see sometimes in the winter here, 3 times, 4 times, or even 5 times more the daily rate than in the summer.
Yes.
Yeah? So this is basically the result is what we see here in this chart, where we can see, for example, July 2024 was 18,000 average.
Yes.
And in December was 73,000,
Yeah.
more than 3 times, almost 4 times, right? Yeah. This is, let's say, the normal behavior of the daily rates and revenue in short-term rental in Dubai.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can see here also on the chart that the peak season is starting actually in October, on the 1st of October. We can see the big change from September 24 to October 24, for example. Right, it's doubling, right?
Yes.
And it just goes up until December. And we actually have a very long season, right? If you compare it also with Europe, it's 3-4 months maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
In Dubai, it's 8 months.
Yes.
Yeah, it starts from October, it goes all the way to May.
Yes. For example, in the north of Portugal, it rains until almost June, and then it starts raining again in September, and sometimes in the summer also rains. So it's not as constant or as reliable as it is here the winter season, that we are going to have the good weather and it's like this. So
Correct.
it's going to stay.
So seasonality is very important for the short-term rental business, and obviously during the peak season we make majority of the income,
Yes.
right? And we outperform clearly long-term rent during the peak season, and also the mindset of many people here in Dubai change, right? Also, so especially in this period, everyone who used to do long-term and who has an empty apartment now switches to short-term to actually benefit from the peak season.
Yes.
So now when we go to the next slide, what we have done here, similar to the long-term rent case, we have taken an average of each quarter of the rental income. And again, it shows us clearly the seasonality here. Yeah, so when we check here now Q3 of 24 versus Q4 of 24, we can see that it's basically tripling almost, right? But then we see also clearly downward trends, yeah, until the summer of 25, which is also normal as expected. However, what is very interesting to see here is that in the past 12 months, so meaning from October 24 to September 25, we have done gross 575,000 dirhams. After deducting the booking platform fees and after deducting the management fees, which we're taking, the net rental income was 391,000 dirhams, which is 19.6% higher than the average annual rate for a new rental contract during the past 3 months. So this shows also clearly that short-term rental, we always say to our clients, right, you can expect 20 to 30% more income, and the data clearly shows it.
So this is a specific case, right? Again, 3 beds in downtown. In this case was, let's say, the real data for last year was 19.6% higher than long-term.
Yes.
Than the new renewals the new contracts of.
Correct. So obviously, this is one of the major benefits which we have in the short-term rental industry, right? And on top, you have the full flexibility, right? Which we always praise to our clients. What is also very interesting is if we compare now Q3 25 versus Q3 24, we can also clearly see that there is a positive trend, right? There is an uplift of 9.3%, which shows demand, right? Dubai is having a lot of visitors, right? I think this year again it's growing by several percent. I think we will see it in the next slide.
Yes.
And it shows a clearly positive trend here.
Yes. So 9% more, 9.5% more. While on the other side there is actually a decline, right?
Yes.
So we had 19.6% more comparing short-term rental with long-term rental in terms of return.
Yes.
On top of that, there is a positive trend for short-term rental, so it's going up 9% compared to the previous year, while the long-term rent is actually going down, right? That's what we are seeing. So
correct.
There is a difference, and this difference looks like it's getting bigger, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and especially when we go now into our peak season, we will expect a potentially bigger gap between these two cases, right? So now when we go to the next slide, which shows the, let's say, the international visitors, which are very important for our industry, right? So on one side, we saw the population growth, which is important for the long-term rental.
Yeah.
Long-term rentals. We see now, of course, the international visitors. And Dubai has welcomed in the first half of 2025, 9.88 million visitors, which is an increase of 6% compared to the same time period in 2024.
6%.
6%. And actually the outlook is very promising. We hear it also from other industries. September was very strong, right? Also in our industry, we hear it from other companies. Especially in the next 3-4 months, we're expecting a very high influx of visitors. And I think Dubai will beat the records from last year by a big margin.
You have told me also, I think this morning we met, you told me that you heard something on the radio about the Dubai duty-free numbers, right?
Correct.
Not only the people that are coming in and staying in Dubai, but also the amount of visitors in general through the airport is also increasing.
Correct.
Right?
So we have not only passengers coming in, right?
Yes.
So not only passengers, because in Dubai it's an international hub, right?
Not only visitors, but also let's say stopover passengers.
Exactly. And even the sales at Dubai duty free is 7% up every month so far compared to last period. And it's not only it's outperforming the passenger numbers even. So this means even the spend per passenger has increased here, right? And actually our data confirms this trend as well, right? We can see it. Our prices also went up.
Yes.
Yeah, so the average booking value increased.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are very optimistic for the rest of the season. I think it will be, honestly, when I see the traffic on the streets, etc., I'm a little bit scared. I think it will be a crazy season.
Yes.
Yeah?
And this also, so let's say the indicators show, or seems like there is a trend of this growth that we saw in short-term rentals from the previous chart to keep growing, right? Because again, the number of tourists is increasing. We are expecting that it will keep on increasing, and this will just positively impact the short-term rental rates, right?
Yes. So now when we go to the next slide, we see here the occupancy rates. Yeah, occupancy is something our customers are always challenging us, especially in summer. Yeah, but what we can see here is clearly that our occupancy is crazy, right? Crazy high. 93% on average throughout, and throughout the year it's I think even higher. Yeah, if you see these numbers.
Yes. So this is again, as you also linked with something you mentioned before, the high season here is long, and here you can see that it's actually very long. Almost the whole year is fully occupied. The hotels are occupied, short-term rentals are occupied.
Correct.
Right? Occupancy across almost the whole year, and even in the low season, in the very low, let's say the lowest of the low season, there is still high occupancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously the rates are going down, right?
Yes.
Even the hotels on the Palm, they're offering all-inclusive
Lot of
holidays.
packages. Yeah.
Yes. So people with, let's say, lower budgets, they are obviously using the possibility and to come to Dubai.
Yes.
Right. Especially now in winter, we have a complete different scenario.
Yes.
Prices are going up like crazy.
Yes.
Now, if you see the summary slide, so short-term rentals are surging in Dubai, outpacing long-term yields amid booming tourism, while traditional leases falter despite population gains. Yeah, I think the message is very clear here. Yeah, short-term rentals are outperforming the long-term rentals. Yeah. And if you summarize now what we have seen so far is, so long-term rentals contracts are trending in downward. Yeah, new rental contracts declined by 8.6%. Q4 24 versus Q3 25, despite a population growth in Dubai of net 300,000 people and an increase of new rental contracts.
Yes.
Then we have the short-term rental income that outperforms long-term yields with a clear upward trajectory. Yeah, as we have seen in previous slides, 19.6% above new long-term leases on average. Yeah, and 9.3% year on year if we especially see the last quarter. We have high occupancy rates.
Yeah. I think sorry to interrupt you, these first 2 points are, I think this is the main thing. So it's very clear. Long-term rent, so that we get a clear message of all these slides, right? Long-term rent is making less than short-term rental. The data shows we are looking at downtown 3 beds and it's coming down. And short-term rental, it seems like there is a trend to go up, right? And these trends seem to not be like a momentaneous trend. It seems to be what we can expect for next months, maybe years, right?
Yes. Especially when we see the last point, which is really, underlining this narrative, right? So Dubai is expecting, especially when we go now to the next months, 22 million visitors in 2025, which means a 17.5 surge from 2024. And these are crazy numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, I think no other city has these developments like Dubai.
So this is good news for short-term rentals, right? I think we will keep on benefiting from these trends in the next months and potentially next years, as long as long-term rent maybe will struggle for a while. So let's see how the market develops.
Yes, but especially when we see all these new projects, all the, let's say, which will be handed over next year and the year after, right? More than 180,000 units. I think it will be very challenging for long-term rents to keep them up. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Very good. So this is what we had for today, right? And thank you everyone for if you are watching this podcast, for watching until now. And we hope that there are insights here that are useful for you. Also, let us know if you have any questions, any concerns that maybe we can answer either directly or in the next podcast. Please comment below in the video, and then we will address your questions.
Don't forget to subscribe and to share. And again, as Luis was saying, if you're interested in investing in Dubai and you want to invest in a concept which gives you the highest returns on your investment, then I think you have the experts here with Luis and me and First Class.
Yeah.
Thank you.